Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In the last video, you guys saw me pressure wash the 10 years of gunk off of this BMW E30, and this thing looks freaking fantastic. I mean, now that it's all dry, you can kind of see how, bad the paint is or how good the paint is, however you want to look at it. Don't worry, I wasn't expecting like a 10 out of 10 paint underneath all of that 10 years of gunk. And all things considered, I'm really happy with how this thing looks. So today's video is gonna be like an accumulation of things. There's a bunch of stuff that I'm waiting on, like the turbo manifold, the RX-8 gearbox adapter, and a couple other things to do to the 07K before I start working on the actual E30. But the tires on these wheels are pretty freaking dry rotted, and I happen to have, where are you going, gimbal? Where do you think you're going? Bad gimbal. Yeah, whatever I was saying, these tires are extremely dry rotted and the rears are extremely dry rotted. So I have another set of 4x100 wheels that used to be on my Mark II, and I absolutely love the wheels and I didn't want to sell them because I was like, maybe someday I'll use them on the Mark II again, but lo and behold, I can use them on the E30. So, and these are the wheels in question. They're Centra Type 11s, and apparently these are relatively rare. Just because they're rare doesn't mean that they're sought after, so I don't really know that they're worth anything, but I love them so much and I just really didn't want to get rid of them, especially if they only sold for like 500 bucks. To me, that's not worth it. I'd rather just keep the 500 bucks and keep the wheels and have them hanging around if I ever wanted to use them again. So my baby girls are gonna go on the E30 and it's gonna have a good time. Don't mind the monster truck and look, because obviously I don't think there's coilovers on this car and the tires are a little bit smaller than the ones that are already on here. But dude, I think we might have to get these refinished with like a polished lip and a white face. I think that's gonna look fantastic. I really like these wheels and I'm glad I might be able to use them again. Dude, those look so good on this E30. No way, dude. I love these freaking wheels, dude. The fact that those look so good on here makes me so happy. I mean, they're sunk to all hell, so if I ever did want to run these, I'd have to, run a spacer or something like that because the fitment is whack. All right, well, honestly, I don't remember where we left off, but what we need to get started on now is taking off of this front end. And I latched the hood, and now I can't get it to unlatch, so we gotta figure that out, and then we can start to take off this grille, the headlights, the bumper, and then get it to the core support, and then we gotta decide some pretty big stuff from there. All right, reporting live from inside of the engine bay of my E30. How the fuck do we get this hood to open? I don't know how to get it open, but we're inside, so that's pretty cool. Look at that. Neato. All right, well, that was really sketchy. I couldn't get myself out for a second. Got a little scared, a little panicky. I am claustrophobic, but we did get the hood open. There was a set of vice grips on the inside of the car that went to the hood latch cable. So hood is open. Hood is now gonna come off because I don't need it right now. Now, we are gonna try to take this hood off by ourselves. Don't know how well that's gonna go. Hopefully I don't damage it. I really don't wanna damage it, but if I do, then I guess we just gotta get a carbon fiber hood, the usual. I think it's so neat that the E30 hood opens like that though, like this way, so cool. Can we take this hood off without dropping it? Let's find out. That's tightening it, I'm stupid. All right, how am I gonna do this? This is sketchy, this is sketchy. I'm strong, I am invincible. Nobody can stop me. I got this, we got this, everything's good. E30 hood, yes, yeah, yeah. Oh, this thing's actually pretty light. This thing's a lot lighter than the Mark II hood. We got it off, yeah. Oh boy, I don't know, maybe I should pressure wash this. I should probably pressure wash this, huh? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty clean in here, but it's just really gross to work with all the dead leaves and gross crap that's going on in here. So maybe we should push the E30 out and actually pressure wash the engine bay. I made the executive decision to push this thing out of the shed and clean up the engine bay just with the pressure washer. But right now we're just gonna take apart the front end, get the headlights and the grille off. Interested to see how you do that. Do you just pop these out? I think you do. Well, that's one way to do it. Okay, cool. That's broken. I didn't even break that one. That wasn't on me. Well, it was kind of on me. Oh, I'm really stupid. There's a screw there. I'll bang it on a hammer with it. I should probably use my eyes. Remember, this is who you subscribe to. Just keep that in mind. But like I was saying, I think this build is gonna snowball very rapidly. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here in a minute. I'm having a hard time deciding whether, you know, we just want to be chill on this build, just get the engine in and get it running. Or maybe we go balls out and do stuff that's really out of my budget, but I just really want to do anyway. And then hopefully it works out later down the road and I can make that money back. Or do we just keep it simple and just get the engine in the car with the transmission and just get this thing going down the road? And like by super fancy, I mean like standalone ECU, do a tube front end, do all the cool stuff. Even though I've never drifted before, I just want to do it because I like building stuff. And I think, you know, the way this car is, with how clean it is for the most part, this will be a forever car. You know, and if I go the standalone ECU route, we have so much more tunability, but then I'm dropping $3,000 on a standalone ECU, and then we do a tube front end, that's $1,000, and then we do a bunch of crazy stuff, there's more money. I'm just pooping money out of my butt, you know, like, but at the end of the day, you have a really badass car. That's just kind of something that I'm struggling with internally. What direction is this car gonna go? Is it gonna snowball into something that is way out of my budget, but really badass? Or do I keep it simple? I don't know. Want your guys' opinions on that though. So would it be beneficial to do the removable core support, or would it be just sick and nasty to do the tube front end because we already have the roll cage? God, dude, it's such an easy freaking rabbit hole to fall down. The, you know, well, if we're in there, you might as well. It's just one of those things, man. I just always do this. I did this with the Mark II, you know. Oh, I might as well do this while I'm doing this. Oh, and I forgot to show you. This is one of the reasons why this build is starting to snowball, because check out what I got. Check this puppy sucker out. This thing is freaking gnarly, dude. S&P Automotive, shout out to you, hooking me up with the freaking tubular turbo manifold for the 07K. This thing is badass. I mean, just check this thing out, dude. This thing is gonna be so sick. But this is what I mean. This is why this build is gonna snowball, I think. I still need extended manifold bolts, but check this thing out on here. Like this, you can't put this in a crusty car and have it, you know, being crusty. Because look at how beautiful that is, dude. Like, look at that. Turbo here. Freaking nice 4-inch downpipe coming down. Oh. This is bad. This is not good. I mean, come on, you can't put a beauty like that into this crusty engine bay and leave everything else crusty. Like, you just can't do that. This is not good. This is bad. This is where things start to take a really big tumble towards financial illiteracy. Gonna take this puppy sucker off, which is like the hood mounting thingy-mabob. We're just gonna pop it off real quick. Put your bolts back where they're supposed to go. And then this little bumper thing looks like it'll just pop off with one screw taken out. We'll find out if that's the case or not. There's also a little baby 8mm bolts back here you gotta pop out. You're coming out whether you like it or not. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, we got 2 more screws there, probably another bolt, and then this thing's off. I've never worked on a Beamer chassis before, so this is all like foreign territory to me. Okay, well that's one way to do it. That's off now, cool. Guys, I really need a bigger workshop. I'm so sick of working out of the shed. I guess honestly, it's, I don't know, it's not that bad, but like I gotta be grateful for just having a space at all. But for doing the stuff that I'm doing now at this level, I guess it kind of adds to like the whole equation of how cool this actually will be if I can actually build this out of the shed. Oh, shiza. All right, well, other bumper is off. The other side of the plastic cover is off. And now what? No, we can take more off, can't we? And then I think the only other 2 are the ones on the side of the fender. I could be wrong. Let's find out. We got one right here. Pop this bad girl off. Maybe. Oh, it's all stripped to... I just bend my fender. Cool. Who would have thought my first fender bender would have been me trying to take off a freaking bolt and not somebody freaking running into the side of me on a fucking racetrack. All right, let's not bend this side. Cool. I hear the more violently you shake something, the less likely you're going to break it and for it to come off nicely. Oh, there's bolts underneath. How about now? Yeah. Just kidding, there's another bolt underneath here. How about now? What am I missing? All right, Brett, be smarter than the car, smarter than the car. Oh, I must have to take these off first. All right, you, sir, look like you're gonna be a pain in the butt because you're big and you're old. Can you take this puppy sucker off? Let's find out. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But the real question is, can you do it again? Let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Nothing broke. Praise Dale. Woo! We got that puppy sucker off of there. Look at that. We're ready for a blueberry facial on our E30. We got the whole front end taken apart. Now we just got the core support and everything just kind of chilling. So now that we got the whole front end taken off, I'm going to pull the E30 out of the shed, spray down the engine bay, clean it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna end the video there. And then you guys will let me know down in the comments below if we should do the removable core support or if we should just say screw it and just do a tube front. I'm gonna have to contract out my brother on that one though, because he's the better welder out of the two of us. Actually, he's the one who knows how to weld. I don't even know how to weld yet. But I made a good deal with him. Any work that he does on the car, he gets to drive the car. So I'm sure, you know, that kind of works out. Hold on, I gotta move the Mark II out of the way really quick. Stanky. Let's soak her down with some. Let's soak her down with some degreaser, huh? Now it's really interesting. Some of the parts are like brownish gold and then like some of the parts are silver. Now I'm curious to see if that's just like dirt buildup or like grossness buildup or like what's going on with the gold in the engine bay. Or maybe it's some sort of like fancy BMW rust preventative coating that I just sprayed off and all the Beamer boys are gonna be like, why'd you do that? Ah, shucks. I don't want to get you wet. I don't want to break that camera. That's expensive. All right, round one of pressure washing done. Now I'm gonna add another layer of degreaser on it and this time actually scrub it down and try to get rid of the rest of the gunk. And you can tell it's a BMW because it's caked with oil on this side of the frame rail. BMW guys, try not to have an oil leak challenge. Impossible. Who am I to talk though? I drive Volkswagens. Honestly, that, you know, begs the question. Which car manufacturer is most susceptible to oil leakage? BMW, Volkswagen, Audi? I don't know, man. My Audi has never had a freaking oil leak. I don't really have that issue. Am I just one of the lucky ones? All right, scrubbage round 2 complete. Spray off round 2. There's a bee flying in front of my eyeball and it's landed on my eyeball. Huh? You wanna fuck with me, bee? Huh? Swear to God, if I get stung, I'm gonna be so pissed. Huh? You wanna go? Get out of here. Get on, scat. Dude, it literally landed on my eyeball. That was so scary. I'm not afraid of bees, but I don't want my eyeball to get stung. All right, other than that bee fiasco, that was kind of sketchy, but round 2 of the pressure washing is done. It's still looking pretty good. I still really don't know what this like gold is. It like didn't come off with the brush. Maybe I just got to brush harder, or maybe it's something freaking factory BMW. I don't know. Let's dry this thing off though, and then we got to address the water in the you know, interior. Really? It died? I was just charging it. Come on, man. All right, well, there you have it. I'll just let it freaking air dry, I guess. It looks a lot better, a lot less crusty, still pretty dirty. I think I still want to wire wheel it down and repaint the engine bay, or maybe just do like a quick scuff and shoot. So I do like to have function and form because, you know, why not? But now I need to address the interior. It's really gross, it's really crusty. I'm gonna start off by shop vacuuming it, and then we'll make the determination if we just want to pressure wash all of this junk out. Ew. Stinky, gross carpet. All right, well, unfortunately, we did discover some rot. We got some, you know, squishiness here. That kind of sucks. That's less than ideal. I said this car was rust-free, but I guess I was kind of meaning that in E30 terms, because if you guys know E30s, you know that none of them are free of rust. Am I absolutely ticked off about that little rust spot? No, not really. It's not the end of the world. It is fixable, but it is marginally disappointing. It is what it is. At least it's fixable. At least, well, to me, it looks like it's fixable. For the price that I paid for this car, there was a lot worse options out there. People want like $2 grand for an E30 that has no floor left. Just cut it back, do some hillbilly welding, throw in a new piece of sheet metal in there, and then you're freaking good to go. All right, well, we got the interior all vacuumed out, all cleaned up, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with the condition of this car. Obviously, we have that little hole that's starting to develop over there. This side looks pretty good. This side looks pretty good. And overall, I'm pretty happy with the level of rust on this car. Is it perfect? No. But for the people who are like, oh, you said it was rust-free, but I see some rust right there. I'm talking about in the grand scheme of things. Rust-free means, hey, there's a couple spots here and there that are fixable. A lot of the options out there for E30s are freaking gone. The floor pans are gone, the strut towers are gone, the frame rails are gone. This thing is relatively straight. Looking at the trans tunnel, we have some rust right there, but that looks to be that patch panel right there, so I think we'll be able to clean that up. That must be new sheet metal that somebody never wire wheeled and painted. And this rust right here, although it is really disappointing, in the grand scheme of things, not really that bad. It's fixable, like I said. Both strut towers are absolutely immaculate. Rockers are solid. Even the rear valance back here is completely rust-free. And so for the dummies who are like, oh, but I see rust right there. Yeah, dude, it's gonna have some freaking rust, okay? It's a 40-year-old car. Like, that's the reality of it. Any E30 that you find that's completely rust-free is gonna be in a freaking museum. Like for the people who live in the northeast, if you know, you know. This thing is clean. But I'm gonna end the video off here. We got a lot accomplished today. Got the front end done, got the engine bay cleaned up, and got the interior cleaned up. And now in the next video, you guys are gonna watch me do a bunch of wire wheeling. I'm gonna wire wheel the entire interior, the floors, the roll cage, everything. It's gonna suck. But it's one of those things, you gotta do what you gotta do, and then I can fix that rust hole that's in that corner. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, please leave a like, please subscribe. It's gonna be freaking sick nasty. I can't wait till this car is freaking cooking. And let me know down below in the comments if this build should snowball into something with a tube front end and something crazy, or if we should just keep it simple and just get the car going. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.